am getting old now. I need the patch because when your former students come on here and share testimonials, it's a blessing. But her testimony is life changing. Abby, thank you for being on tonight, sharing. Go for it.
Thanks, Joe. Um, my name's Abby. I am from tiny little town in West Texas, and I am here to share about my daughter's testimony. She is 11 years old, and she was diagnosed with autism back in 2019, and also ADHD, anxiety, just a number of those things that kind of come with autism. Um, so it's just her and I, and she has always struggled with transitions, and changes, Um, Getting on the bus was a really hard thing for her. She loves the bus, she loves kids, but it was just really hard for her to navigate those changes. All last year was a really, really tough year for her for transitions, with her teachers and everything. So Penny had come to me, I believe it was, gosh, back in like April, May of last year, and told me about the patches. And we were just going through some things. It just wasn't the right time for me to try something new with her. She was on 3 medications for sleep, for her anxiety, and for her ADHD. So then after the summer, last summer, Penny mentioned the patches again, and it was just the right time for everything lined up. And so I got her on the patches in August, right before school started. And I knew going into this new school year last year, she was going to have a lot of changes again. She'd have a new teacher, she'd have new aides, everything was going to be new, a bus driver and everything, except for her kids in her class. So going into this new school year, I prepped her teacher, all these things that I have always known and that she needed to know about Brinlin, to prepare for the school year, all these transition issues that she'd have. Um, and so I told her teacher about all these things. And that first week, she had zero issues. And her teacher kind of like came to me like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, Brinlin had a great week. She didn't have any issues with transitions. She was able to eat all week just fine. And so I was kind of like shocked, like, because the whole week she hadn't really said anything. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I know my kid. And so then I didn't say anything to Penny, I think, until maybe the second week. And then I started noticing a little bit more changes. Within the first 2 weeks, she was able to get off of her ADHD medicine. And then about 2, 3 weeks later, she was able to get off her anxiety meds. And I worked with her doctor throughout all this. And then within 2 months, she was able to get off her sleep meds, which was huge. She'd been on her medicine for a little over 4 years. And so for her to go off those medicines it was again just life changing. It changed our day to day activities for her. She was able to transition a lot easier. Going to like basketball games and football games, she used to have a really hard time with going up the steps. She's always had issues with steps, that goes along with like her brain balance. And since the patches, she's able to go up and down the stairs with no issues, no help, no issues, nothing. Even people at the games would see her and they were like shocked when they'd see her be able to go up and down the steps because they knew she's always struggled with that. Her anxiety is almost completely gone. I mean, she still has a little bit of anxiety, but she is sleeping great throughout the night. She's been on the patches, gosh, since August, since the middle of August now. And every day I still see changes in her. Just yesterday, she was able to take out the trash all by herself. That's huge for her. Just little day-to-day tasks that she couldn't do by herself before, she can do now without me even prompting her because she just knows. She's able to focus a lot better. I just had her big art meeting up at her school last month. And so none of her teachers really knew that she was on the patches. And so I was starting to meet with her therapist, and they told me before her meeting that, they just could not believe the progress in her this year. And they said, ever since September, we've been able to see this huge change in her. And I'm just smiling. And so then I tell them, I said, well, do you want to know what's changed? And they said, yeah, like we didn't know how to ask, but yeah. So I tell them about the patches. I tell them how she's off all of her medicine, and they were just blown away because they couldn't believe, obviously, the timeline of everything. They knew it was the patches, and just the improvement that she has made has been huge all around in school and just in her day-to-day life. So we're super, super grateful for the patches.